This is a reading from the book The New Path, written by Swami Ananda. Some months later, I told him I was having trouble calming my breath in meditation. That, he replied, is because you used to talk a lot. The influence has carried over. Well, he said consolingly, you were happy in that. Silence is the altar of spirit. As I grew into my new way of life, I began to value this maxim. Soon after our visit to 29 Palms, Bernard drove Norman and me out there again. Master had devised a project for the two of us to work on, probably to give us an excuse to be near him while he concentrated on his writings. He asked us to build him a small swimming pool behind the house near his bedroom. It was not that he particularly wanted a pool. In fact, once it was finished, he never used it. But it did give Norman and me the opportunity to be with him for weeks at a time. Soon we were busy shoveling out a deep hole in the sand. Master, taking an occasional break from his writing, would come out and work with us for 15 minutes or so. Whenever he did so, I felt a deep blessing. But I hadn't yet adjusted to his habitual silence. One warm, sunny afternoon, I noticed that he was panting slightly with physical exertion and remarked conversationally, "It's hot work, isn't it?" "It is good work." Master gazed at me a moment as if with reproach, then returned in silence to his digging. Gradually, inspired by his example, I learned to speak less and to listen more to the soundless whispers in my soul. Thank you.
Good evening again, and welcome those behind the posts. I'm sorry I'm not able to see you. Now I can see better. When I came to Ananda, came to Master's teachings in 1978, and I was seeking truth, I was seeking family. Topic of tonight is spiritual family and also time and seclusion. And I was really looking for someone, some place, some people who were high energy, high consciousness, who were challenging, who I could learn from, maybe I could soar with. I wasn't looking for an easy route in life. And I ended up with Swami Priyanandaji, Master, and his direct disciple, Swamiji. And I remember my parents were very much against my going, and my whole family, and they just couldn't believe I was leaving my home and everything. And they kept saying, well, why are you going? And where are you going? I was 21 at the time. And I kept saying, all I know is the place is called Ananda. I didn't know what Ananda really meant even. I remember my mother said, what does that mean? And I said, all I know is Ananda means joy. And I have to look for that inside myself. And so I met Swami Priyanandaji. He said some of his first words to me were, this is your home. You should live here. I met Jayaji and Sanadeviji, Jyotish, Devji, Devji. I met all the old-timers of Ananda. And I saw the kind of life that they had. It wasn't an easy life. It wasn't ego bomb. It wasn't a weakling life. Master had one disciple who, he called him in public, in fact, his baby. And he said, he's my baby. And he looked at the man, because the man always liked to be coddled. pampered, and he said, "You don't mind me calling you baby, do you?" And I'm like, "No, Master, I don't mind." Well, we don't come to Ananda to be babied. We come here to grow up. We come here to gain wisdom. We come here to live in truth. We come here to be in company of people who are honest, people who are striving, people who are seeking God, people who are wanting to find God. And so when I came, that's the reason I came. And that's the reason I stayed, was that it wasn't an easy life. It wasn't a pampered life. I wasn't always right anymore, even though I thought so. I couldn't have my way all the time, even though I wanted to. But I learned to behave, like Swami Sri Teswarji said. And in the company of like-minded people in satsang, in spiritual community, I heard Swamiji in a recent talk saying, you need other people on the path. You need satsang, because there you can see where you're going wrong, what attitudes you might not have quite right, the things maybe you need to change about yourself that make other people uncomfortable. You need other people. And Master's path was very much going off on your own, which I'll talk about in a moment, but satsang. And Master Yoganandaji talked of a couple of disciples who he told, you come often and visit me, Yoganandaji. And he said one always came, that was Rajasi, and one very rarely came. And he said the one who came and had the satsang, who was with the other truth seekers, he said that he was soaring. The other was bogging down. He said he's bogging down, but he doesn't know why. And so Yoganandaji talked a lot about satsang, being with other truth seekers, serving together, meditating together, seeking together, studying together, singing together, chanting together, because in that way, with the energy of the group, we can grow more rapidly. And along the path, I tried going off on my own. I wanted to go off on my own. I think many people at Ananda, in their hearts, are hermits. We love to be alone. We don't want other people around. But I found, before I came to Ananda, I was with Master, but I wasn't with Swamiji yet. And I was learning everything through books and lessons and whatever I could get my hands on. And I wasn't really progressing. I thought I was. You know, as Swamiji says, that people think just helping an elderly person across the street is being saintly. Well, it should be your duty. But you don't have anybody to compare yourself with there. And so I was by myself and learned how to energize. It was completely wrong. No energy behind it, and rarely did it. I remember Swamiji, Priyanandaji looked at me once when I finally got there. He said, do you energize? And he must could see I didn't have much the right energy and it wasn't harmonious. I said, well, not really, sir. He said, you just must do it. And I got to Ananda and I could say, those people were energizing with high energy and enthusiasm, and they were doing more than the minimum. And I learned how to energize because I was with other people who were energizing strongly. Same with the yoga postures. I tried on my own. My back was hurting from the trials in my shoulders. And then I learned with the other people. I was able to, like this weekend, I don't know if Lata's here, but Lata just leads them beautifully, the yoga postures. I just have to thank her. And nobody's back went out. Nobody injured themselves. We just had such a wonderful time, but with the group, everybody could do it better. Isn't it so? Hard postures I had never done before. Suddenly I was in the pose. Because the satsang with the others and the meditation, I tried meditating by myself. I just was restless as could be. And then when I came amongst the devotees at Ananda, suddenly I was meditating. This weekend, people who never meditated before, they were meditating for an hour, still, because of the satsang. And so, trying to go off on your own, I remember trying to think about the path on my own even. So even at Ananda, I thought, well, nobody's going to tell me because I know. And I'm a graduate from a good school. I'm a graduate. And not even Swamiji, you know, and then you have this in your mind and you just getting deeper and deeper in delusion. So I remember many people passed through the community and everybody followed along them. There was Swamiji and many so-called healers came. Some were healers, some were, I don't know what they were, but it's so interesting how you can just get off. And so somebody with some little magnetism. I remember someone came through and this person, his name was Dr. Lamb, I don't know if they were actually remember. And he actually was quite good. But then people would go take it too far. So, you know, Master had his teachings of all the things you do, and then, you know, you got kind of bored, so you went to somebody else. So I went to him, and he had lights. He would shine these different colored lights. You'd lie on the table, and he would shine the lights, and it would be healing you through the lights. And actually, I mean, he would say, "What color do you see?" "I see a blue light." I always saw blue. Anyway. It was actually quite nice, but I mean, I was going to him all the time. Instead of doing Kriya and meditating, I'd go to Dr. Lamb with the lights, blue light. And then there was a lady who came, and I honestly, they were good people, and they did good things. It was just the people. We went off, and she had a box that was a sound machine. And she would emanate different sounds, and they would, you know, go into the person. And it cost so much. I would say either I'm going to eat for 3 months or go to this lady. so she would do the machine, and at the end, you know what her advice was? She saw so many people at Ananda Village and all the colonies I've been with. At the end, she said, you know, all you have to do is listen to your own music. Listen to Swamiji's music, and you will be healed. You don't need this box. Isn't that interesting? But we always sort of went off to something else, and then the last one I'll tell you about. I mean, there were many, believe me. Somehow I always was going over, but then I would come back into the sangha, into the satsang. This last person, he had various things. And they all seemed to work, but I mean, it was going too far. But then he started advising me. And Swamiji said, instruction versus inspiration. You can go for inspiration, but when you start listening to people telling you about your spiritual life, and you're on another path, that's wrong. So he advised me on my diet, which I will go into. It's pretty embarrassing, but I won't say what he advised. But he advised me on my diet, and somehow I just sort of bought into it. Okay, this sounds good. And these are all the delusions you can get into when you're just, I'm on my own, I make up my own mind, no one tells me what to do. I know what I'm doing. I've been on this path long enough. I've seen it. I've seen people come and go. And so I listened to this man, and finally, I started doing what he said to do, and I just felt bad. This couldn't be right, but this guy knows what he's talking about, doesn't he? And so I kept going on that route, and I finally saw Swami Kriyanandaji, and I asked him finally about this advice I had. I'll never forget, he was drinking this punch. we were having a tea, and I was sitting right there, and I said, Swamiji, and what do you think this man said? He had the punch, and he just went, and he said, why are you listening to him? He's no saint. I'll never forget what he said. He's no saint. Why are you listening to him? And I immediately stopped, but I saw how far I had gone in my mind. This is good for me. I know what's right for me. Let me follow my own mind. And I saw how far off I could go. And that's only 3 things ever me. And only because of Master through Swamiji and the satsang of the Guru Bhais, and staying with the others and listening to the close Guru Bhais. You can be kind of, a Guru Bhai can be, feeling kind of low or whatever. And if you call a worldly friend, so to speak, you call and say, oh, I'm feeling down, I just feel terrible, they'll say, typically, me too. And then they start telling you about their problems. You say, well, I was telling you about my problems. No, I got my problems. If you call another Guru Bhai and say, oh, I'm just feeling kind of, they'll say, come on, let's go chant, let's go to the center, come on, let's go serve, come on, let's go. No, I got this book, I have a talk by Swamiji I'll give you, come on, let's go. No, it happens. You need the company of each other. And as you draw from the others, you find that you can soar. And I don't mean physical company. I mean to open yourself to the guidance that Masters bring in the others. I heard a wonderful line of Swamiji's about Yoganandaji, and I played a little clip of a talk by him. But he said, people say they're just loyal directly to Master. He said, well, and they're loyal to a picture. And he said, it's easy to be loyal to a picture. He's always smiling. And you take that smile that he's saying, yes, yes, yes. He said, you start talking to some people around you. Start talking to some people who've been around longer than you. Let Master tell you through them sometimes. It's typically a little bit different. But that's hard advice. And so the satsang is vital. To stay clear, to stay focused, to stay committed. I think, gosh, would I still be here if I hadn't had Guru Bhais? Would I be here? Would I have the energy? Would I have the commitment? Would I have the joy? If I didn't have the satsang, I would say no. And secondly, we have the way of helping each other. And then, as this beautiful reading said, anytime alone. I don't think, we tried it this weekend, and Shivani and Damodar do a beautiful job there at the retreat. I urge you all to go there. It's just so peaceful, so wonderful to get away from the traffic. The barking dogs, the pollution, the environment. There was, Master said in one of his talks that someone had told him, I think it was the police chief of Chicago. He said that people would live 10 years longer if there weren't so much noise. There weren't so much noise. The noise works on your nervous system. And there was an article, was a doctor on the internet saying that it works on your nervous system and people get dementia from the heavy noise pollution all the time. So to be able to get out of the city is important. To be able to get away from family, friends, all the people around you, every so often is very important. To be able to get away from the social media, Facebook friends, who knows how many you have. We're always this friend and that friend, and there's a new friend. It just who's going, who's this friend? And I've got to answer that one, and this one I've got to talk to, and now I've got to send a message to this one, and it's too much. I mean, people wake up, I think, and this is India, I think people used to wake up in the mornings and think of God. Am I right? Maybe not in America, but in India, I think people used to. Now people in the morning. First thing in the morning, everybody closes their eyes. They're taking a break from Twitter, from Facebook, from WhatsApp. Everybody's chatting the whole time. It's like I'm on 20 groups. I can't do it anymore. And all the messages and the phone calls. Take a break. Take a break. People don't take a break from that. At least once a week, shut your phone off, if you can. You know? Lock the door. I have a day off. I lock the door. Close the drapes. People say, I know you're in there. Close the drapes and lock the door. Turn off the phone. Turn off the computer. What's wrong? This isn't natural. And take a day with God in silence. Now, I was just with 30 wonderful people. Raise your hand if you were at the retreat. No, no, this was for the ladies' silent retreat. Well, I can say that I congratulate them. They did a good job on the silence. We were in silence for a long time. There was some whispering. And there was some outright talking. But basically, I think this was a world record. 30 Indian ladies to be in silence. I had to stop several of them from long conversations, but for the most part, people were in silence. And so taking the time to be quiet, to do more yoga, to do more meditation, to read your spiritual books and not the Bollywood magazines, to turn off the television. My God. People are addicted. Sometimes I go home, I come all the way from India to America to visit my family, and first day I'm there and they say, wait, our show is on. I said, what do you mean, wait? I haven't seen you for a year. Our show is on. You just gotta wait till the show is on. I said, oh, come on. Then I got the show from the other room. Bang, 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 bang. Why would you watch something like that? People have nightmares. They have indigestion. They have headaches all the time. They have fears and worries. I would say turn off the television. At least one day of the week. Turn on the inner television. What I read to you. They are going into the light. And here at the center, there are going to be many retreats, longer meditations, times to just shut out your outward life. Come in here. This is a holy place. I just was coming from somewhere here, I just thought, thank God we have centers. Thank God we have gurus. Thank God we have teachings. Thank God we have techniques. Otherwise we'd be just like everybody else. So this is provided for us to be able to share with each other and also take the time grow deeply in your spiritual life. I know it's a challenge, but if you can meditate longer once a week, turn off the phone and the social media and the television, and don't talk for 24 hours, your whole life, I believe, will change. Your face will change, your eyes will change, your energy level will change, your health will change. Your spiritual development will begin to take off. So don't let the world pull you around and pull you down and pull you out. Say, no, stop. I'm on the spiritual path. This is what's important to me. And as Gaurav said, it's nearly 40 years I've been on this path. I've been in India 12 years. My blessing. And I can say, when you can remove those things, when they drop off on their own because of your sadhana, there's so much joy inside. I'm so happy, no matter what happens. I want to close the satsang with just a few words from Swami Kriyanandaji from a beautiful talk on spiritual family. We can dim the lights for this. And just feel as if Swamiji were giving us this talk. I'll play about, it's 6 or so minutes of a talk by Swami Kriyanandaji. Finding your spiritual family.
Reaching out toward something more. If you do, that will have to be fulfilled sooner or later. That desire will generate the kind of energy that will draw to you your spiritual family. Master said that another way to attract true friends from past lives, and that's again what we're talking about, is to meditate on Om and be immersed in Om. Om generates a tremendous magnetism in you, and in the consciousness of Om to send out a call. When you send out that call deeply enough, it will come. I remember the story of Ramakrishna, how when he had gone through many years of sadhana, and the time had come for him to attract disciples, and he said that his longing for this, for his spiritual children became so intense that he felt that as if his heart were like a wet towel being squeezed, wrung dry. He would say, just my own, come to me. And that magnetism was so strong that then his real disciples started coming. I remember Master saying about Norman, who was a very big and stalwart disciple, Master saying to us one time, I prayed for somebody strong, and that's why you were born. And he looked at Norman. But that would go by extension for many of the disciples, that he prayed for them to come, and then they were born so they could join him. The story of Ramakrishna and Vivekananda, when I think it was Vivekananda had this vision, but it may have been Ramakrishna, I forget now. But at any rate, Ramakrishna as a little boy coming up to a sage in the astral or causal world and saying, I'm going down, will you join me? And the sage smiled, and then in his own time he was born. But there is a real link, and you've felt it. That's one of the marvelous things about coming into touch with a spiritual family like ours. I felt it so often. I was just remembering this morning, Seva mentioned, well, I found it, there was no problem. I just went to a lecture and there you were. But it was that I was giving the lecture and I saw Seva in the back of the room and there she was. I just knew. Many of you, I've had that experience that it sometimes has taken a little longer, sometimes I felt it immediately, but that sense of an old friend. Norman said that when he saw me walk into the Hollywood church, his sort of instant thought was, there he is. When you generate that kind of magnetism, then it all comes into place. But then come into place also other factors. that to be worthy of such a family, to be worthy of such an association, you have to put out the right kind of behavior. If you want others to trust you, you have to be trustworthy. If you want others to be loyal to you, you have to be loyal to them. If you want others to love you, you have to love them. In fact, you can't be thinking that much in terms of what they are going to give you. You have to think in terms of what you are giving them. Many people come to great saints, but don't stay. I remember Master saying to Mr. Cuaron, the center leader in Mexico City, whom he was very close to, and he said, I lost sight of you for a few lifetimes, but now you're back and I won't lose you again. And Cuaron would say, promise, Master. And it's a promise. And every now and then, Cuaron would say, remember you promised. Yes, I promised, I won't lose you again. But it wasn't Master who lost in the first place. It was that now he saw that Cuaron had learned his lessons and was spiritually ready to stay with it. But otherwise, I remember that experience that most of you know the story, but some of you wouldn't know it. Of one time Norman had a vision of being with Master on Lemuria. Now I don't know if it was one of Norman's wild imaginations, which he's good at, or whether it was a true vision, which he may have had. But at any rate, Lemuria is supposed to have sunk around 80,000 BC, or something, if indeed it ever existed. But you know, the legends are there. And what I got out of this was, holy smoke, you mean it takes this long? And so I came to Master and I said, sir, have I been your disciple for thousands of years? Here I'd been thinking that if I did Kriya for 50, I'd make it. And why not, indeed, but still, it means that maybe I wasn't doing Kriya or wasn't doing them well or something. But I said, have I been your disciple for thousands of years? And he said, it's been a long time, that's all I'll say. I said, well, sir, does it always take this long? He said, oh yes. Desires for this and that, take them away again and again. And that's the fact of it, that the disciple, you may be drawn to your spiritual family, you may be drawn to your spiritual guru, you may be drawn to just the right circumstances. That's not enough. You've got to be able to generate the kind of attitude that will keep you there and keep you growing. Because if it isn't a growing thing, it'll stagnate. You can't remain in one place. You either go forward or backward. I remember one nun at Mount Washington telling me that when she came, it was so peaceful, she just sort of rode along with the peace and didn't meditate. But I noticed that after a year or two, she'd left. She wasn't putting out the kind of effort that would make it possible for her to stick with that magnetism as it kept drawing her more and more into the heart of it. Master described Mount Washington as a turntable, that those who were at the center would be drawn into the center, but those who were on the outskirts would be thrown off from Mount Washington. You have to try to get into that centrifugal force that draws you to the center of the action, if you want to put it that way.